Pay close attention to the man in the Deadpool costume. This grainy surveillance footage, time-stamped October 19, 2018, shows him moving with eerie purpose through a sunlit college parking lot. Students pass by, oblivious. No one notices the way he lingers near a parked car, or how his gloved fingers tighten around a small black bag. No one realizes this is a predator. Stalking. Waiting. For 2 weeks, he'd been watching 21-year-old Lauren McCluskey. Her routines. Her dorm. Her friends. And on October 22 ND, she would vanish without a trace. But this story doesn't begin with her disappearance. It begins with her cries for help. Cries that were ignored. Just 9 days earlier, Lauren walked into the University of Utah's campus police department, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. She showed them the messages. Threatening, relentless, sent from numbers she didn't recognize. Over the next week, she called police 14 times. 14 pleas for protection. 14 dead ends. Because no one believed her. Or worse, no one cared enough to look deeper. But Lauren, she was already piecing together the truth. The man haunting her texts wasn't a stranger. He was someone she'd once trusted. Someone she'd loved. And by the time she uncovered his real name, his violent past, it was already too late. This is the story of how a system failed her. How a monster hid in plain sight. And how one young woman's fight for survival became a rallying cry for justice. Just 9 days earlier, Lauren walked into campus police headquarters, desperate for help. She reported threatening messages from unknown numbers. Over the next week, she called authorities 14 times. But no one listened. No one believed her. Let's rewind the tape back to October 9th, 10 days before that chilling footage of the Deadpool mask would surface. The timestamp reads 8:47 p.m. University security cameras capture Lauren McCluskey walking across campus, her posture tense, her steps quicker than usual. She's meeting someone, her boyfriend, Sean Fields. But this isn't a date. According to her roommate, Lauren had made up her mind. Tonight was the night she would end it. The footage shows them talking near the dormitory entrance. Sean leans in close, too close. Lauren takes a half step back. Even through the grainy black and white surveillance tape, you can see her body language screaming what her voice hasn't yet said. This is over. But there was something Lauren didn't know, something that would turn this breakup into a waking nightmare. The man standing before her, the man she'd shared a bed with, the man who claimed to be Sean Fields, didn't exist. The name was fiction. The backstory, a computer science student, a part-time bouncer, all fabricated. Even the birth date on his fake ID was a lie. Because the truth lurking behind the charming smile was far more terrifying. The real man had a different name, a different age, and a rap sheet that stretched back years. While Lauren prepared to sever ties with her boyfriend, she had no idea she was actually standing face to face with a convicted felon, a predator who had spent years perfecting the art of deception. And in that moment, as Lauren opened her mouth to say the words that would change everything, neither of them knew this encounter would set in motion a chain of events that would end in tragedy. The man Lauren trusted, the one who brought her flowers, who whispered sweet nothings, who played the perfect boyfriend, wasn't who he claimed to be. He was a predator. A chameleon of deception. A master manipulator who had spent years perfecting his act. Behind the charming smile hid a convicted felon with a trail of victims, a rap sheet littered with violent offenses, and a parole officer who had no idea where he really was. This wasn't just a breakup gone wrong. This was a calculated game of cat and mouse, and Lauren had unknowingly become his prey. She had seen glimpses of the real man beneath the mask, the controlling demands, the unexplained absences, the way his temper flickered like a faulty light bulb. But nothing could have prepared her for the truth she uncovered, a truth so shocking it would send chills down the spines of even the most seasoned detectives. And yet, if it wasn't for Lauren's sharp instincts, if it wasn't for the digital breadcrumbs she left behind, the frantic calls to police, the worried conversations with friends, this monster might have vanished into the night. The truth might have died with her. But Lauren McCluskey refused to become just another statistic. Even in her final moments, she was leaving clues. Fighting back. Making sure someone, somewhere, would piece together what really happened that night. Lauren McCluskey wasn't just another college student. She was a star raised in Pullman, Washington, by loving parents. A gifted athlete who earned a track scholarship to the University of Utah. To her friends, she was fearless. The kind of person who'd climb trees at 2 years old and never look down. September 1st, 2018, a date that would change everything. Lauren McCluskey was in her senior year, standing on the precipice of her future. A night of celebration with friends. Laughter echoing through the neon-lit streets of Salt Lake City. The London Bell Bar pulsed with music, bodies swaying under strobe lights. Then he appeared. Sean Fields. Towering at over 6 feet, his bouncer's frame commanded the room. Chiseled jaw, easy smile, eyes that locked onto Lauren with an intensity that felt electric. He was charming. Disarming. The kind of man who made you feel like the only person in the room. Their connection was instant. Sparks flew over drinks, jokes, stolen glances. By midnight, numbers were exchanged. By morning, plans were made. What followed was a whirlwind romance straight out of a storybook. Dinners, flowers, sweet nothings whispered in the dark. He doted on her, adored her, made her feel like she was the center of his world. But fairy tales don't last. The first cracks appeared subtly. A comment about her outfit. A question about where she'd been. A text that demanded an immediate reply. Then came the rules: what to wear, who to see, when to answer. The man who had once made her feel cherished now made her feel owned. And then the mask slipped. The charming bouncer, the devoted boyfriend, the man named Sean Fields, was nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. And by the time Lauren realized the truth, it was already too late. The nightmare had begun. Asterisk. At first, it was subtle, a disapproving glance at her outfit. A suggestion that she dress more modestly. Then came the rules. The demands. The suffocating control. Sean's texts arrived like gunfire. Rapid, relentless. Each one a demand for her attention. Her location, her obedience. Miss a call? He'd show up unannounced. His eyes scanning her dorm room for signs of betrayal. Lauren's friends watched in horror as their vibrant, independent friend became a shadow of herself. The track star who once ran with fearless abandon now jumped at phone notifications. The young woman who lit up rooms with her laughter now checked over her shoulder before speaking. Then came the ultimate betrayal disguised as protection. One evening, Sean pressed a cold, heavy object into Lauren's hands. A loaded .40 caliber Beretta. "For your safety," he whispered, as if handing a 21-year-old college student a military-grade weapon was normal. As if he wasn't the greatest threat to her safety. Her dorm mates staged an intervention. "This isn't love," they pleaded. But Lauren already knew. Because while Sean thought he was tightening his grip, she had been quietly investigating. A misplaced ID card. A background check. The horrifying truth clicking into place like the slide of that pistol he'd given her. Sean Fields didn't exist. The man she'd been dating was a 37-year-old registered sex offender named Melvin Rowland, a parolee with a history of violence against women. And now, he knew Lauren had discovered his secret. On October 9th, Lauren found an ID card. The photo matched Sean, but the name didn't. Her real boyfriend was Melvin Rowland, a 37-year-old convicted sex offender. A man with a history of violence against women. A fugitive from justice, violating parole. Lauren confronted him, ended it, but Melvin wasn't done. Fake numbers flooded her phone. Messages claimed he died in a crash, demanding she attend his funeral. Campus police dismissed it as a scam. Even when Lauren handed them proof, his sex offender registry photo, they did nothing. Then came the mask. Not just any disguise. The grinning red face of Deadpool staring blankly from security footage as Melvin Rowland moved like a specter through campus. The irony was grotesque. A comic book anti-hero's visage hiding a real-life monster. The black bag in his grip swung slightly with each step, its contents known only to him, and to us now. A loaded Beretta, its barrel still smelling of gun oil, its chamber full of hollow point rounds designed to inflict maximum damage. For 9 excruciating days, the cameras captured his haunting routine, lurking near Lauren's dorm, circling the track where she trained, always just outside the frame when she turned to look, each sighting more brazen than the last. Meanwhile, Lauren's desperate calls to campus police went unanswered, her voice growing more frantic with each message left unreturned. "He's following me," she pleaded on October 19th. "I have proof." But the reports piled up like unread warnings before a storm. October 22nd began like any other Tuesday. Classes, texts to her mom, an afternoon track practice. But as the sun dipped behind the Wasatch Mountains, the Deadpool mask reappeared one final time. This time not just observing, but hunting. That evening, as Lauren walked alone back to her dorm, the last pieces aligned with terrible precision. The masked figure stepping from shadows, the glint of metal drawn from black nylon, a scream cut short, and then silence. Her worst fear, the one she'd predicted, documented, and begged authorities to prevent, had come to pass in the very place she should have been safest, her own campus. Lauren was on the phone with her parents when the attack came. A scream, a thud, then silence. Her mother dialed 911, but it was too late. Hours later, Lauren's body was found in a car. Melvin Rowland, cornered by police, took his own life in a nearby church. The university claimed they couldn't have prevented it. Lauren's parents fought back. They sued. They founded the Lauren McCluskey Foundation, pushing for campus safety reforms. Today, Lauren's promise echoes nationwide: if you're in danger, I will believe you. Lauren McCluskey's story is more than a tragedy. It's a flashing red warning light for us all, a damning indictment of every system that failed her. The campus police who dismissed her pleas, the university that prioritized reputation over protection, the parole board that unleashed a predator. Her case exposes the deadly cracks through which countless victims still fall. But this isn't just about failure, it's about obligation. Lauren did everything right. She documented. She reported. She fought. Her voice echoes now in every 911 call gone unanswered, every rape kit left untested, every victim dismissed as overreacting. When she spoke, the world wasn't listening, and that silence cost a life. We must remember, behind every domestic violence statistic is a freshman with a track scholarship who loved making her friends laugh. Behind every stalking report is a young woman who climbed trees fearlessly as a child, but couldn't escape the monster hiding in plain sight. Behind every case closed file is light like Lauren's, extinguished too soon, but bright enough to illuminate the path forward. Her legacy lives in campus safety reforms, in Lauren's promise, in every person who now thinks twice before saying you're overreacting. Because the hardest truth isn't that monsters walk among us. It's that they thrive when good people look away. Lauren's light won't be forgotten. The question is, will we honor it by finally opening our eyes? Justice for Lauren.